Hi there. Welcome to Blue Room Banters, where we facilitate real, honest conversations on men about everything and anything. I am Oscar Onyisom. Now, when you hear the word superheroes, growing up for someone like me, you think of Batman, Superman, Flash, but generally there's a man at the end of each name. In more recent times, there has been the inclusion, having more female superheroes. We have Batwoman, Catwoman, something, everything woman. But it doesn't take away from the fact that from time, there has been this responsibility associated with men. So today we're talking about men, and it's basically saying, look, I'm a man, not a superhero. When the burden becomes too much for a man, are there people that can pitch in? Can a man voice and cry out and say, you know what, I know you want this much from me, but I can only do this much? I have some great guys in the studio with me, and you get to meet them after the break. This is Blue Room Banters, certified cool by our friends at Premier Cool. We'll be back. Great to have you back. I'm a man, not a superhero. Now, with me, just by looking at them, they look as close to superheroes as you can get. Now, they might not necessarily have capes, but they're cool guys. They've been doing what they've been doing. Some of them are returnees to Blue Room Banters, and some are first-time comers. But we're glad to have them here. I'm going to kick off with my media man, my media personality, always on point, cashing out. Yes. That's Bet Adverts, Bet Nigeria. I have to mention that. That's doing very well.
How you doing, Oscar?
And it's great to have Benga back. So how have you been, bro?
Very well, thank you.
I know the media personality thing is what people know, but there's the modeling thing.
Yes.
There's the fashionista.
It's a uniform.
It's a uniform
for TV.
Is your
so
cape?
I get to wear suits all the time. It feels like an armor. Yeah.
Like an armor.
Yeah.
I'm
sure you could relate.
No,
yeah.
Someone styled me, man. Left to me, I'll be wearing like boxers and singlet or something. But it's great to have you, man. How's the last year been?
Been very good. Good to see you too.
Good to see you too, my brother.
Yeah.
To my left, we have a media man. Now, he's a long-time producer when it comes to advertising, when it comes to film, when it comes to commercials, basically content. We have Sukomi here. Great to have you on board, bro.
Same here. Thank you for having me.
You good?
Yeah, I'm all right.
How does it feel being in front of the camera this time? Because usually you're behind the cameras.
Yeah, I mean, I used to act. I studied theater arts.
Yeah.
So there's a way you can, method your way, in front of the screen. So I think, that helps.
Where do you prefer now?
No, I prefer to be behind. So. I have fun if I'm acting because I used to act, so yeah. So, but I prefer to be behind.
Sukomi Adebayo, great to have you. And of course, last but not least, we have Obi now. So when it comes to names, I'm always very careful. Okere Kiocha.
Okere Kiocha, not too bad.
Not too bad. Don't judge people. Don't judge. So you're creative director. That's at Red TV. I'm sure Red TV needs no introduction. Online content. You guys are doing fantastic work there.
Thank you very much.
But you also cut your bread when it comes to producing as well, content. Broadcasting is also in there somewhere.
Yeah, it is.
So, but you're also an artist, which is the one I'm very curious about. That's painting.
Yeah, so I went to art school, but I think more fundamentally, I've been a creative all my life, and it's something that stems, from my family. My grandfather in the 50s was a photographer in Ibadan. Wow. My father after him was a creative director at an agency called Lintas.
Lintas Lowe?
Yes, Low Lintas, yeah. So he was joined Lintas in 1975 and retired in 2000. So I mean, growing up as a kid, you were inspired already to be an artist. So before I was 10, I already knew I was going to become an artist because my house was filled with art. So I've essentially, grown my path and my career around the arts. Worked for 2 ad agencies before I got into broadcasting.
So guys, I'm a man, not a superhero. And now, we already know this, but when or how can a guy, or should a guy, be able to say, look, I know I'm the firstborn. I know I came first to this family. I have like 4 or 5 other siblings. Automatically, he is expected to either take care or be responsible for the others. He's meant to be the breadwinner, quote and unquote. He's meant to, just because he came in first. Or you're in a relationship as a guy and there are certain expectations of you. So I'm going to throw open the floor and basically start with this one. Now, as a guy, do you think saying no to certain things, especially to women, does it make you or perceive as less of a man? Because there's this superhero thing that is attached to you, like, oh, you're supposed to now. But I find that guys find it difficult to say no, so they box themselves in by keep saying yes to things that they know, if someone could help out, it would be nice. What do you think? Why do you think guys are very reluctant to just say no to certain things? Family, relationships, partners?
I think it's the societal constructs, especially in this part of the world. We live in a very communalistic society, and there's a lot of responsibilities that come with being a man. But things are changing. Back in the 70s, I would say men were superheroes. The economy was better, and women had less opportunities. So, I mean, if you're part of the gender that has more opportunities and is respected in society and all of that, then you should be able to play your part. And that's why most people used to think men were superheroes. But things are changing. The economy has changed and all of that. We haven't shed ourselves off that concept of, a man can do everything. That's why it's kind of difficult saying no to women, or when people ask for favors. You rather, that's where that phrase came from. Let me think about it.
Let me think. I'll get back to you.
I'll get back to you.
But do you personally have a history of finding it difficult to say no? It could be, family. It could be, because when you say no, I think it gives you a certain level of peace, and there's no pressure.
Yeah, but you're not thinking for the other side. So this is how I think. For someone to come to you for a favor, it means they've lost some level of, dignity. It takes a lot to say, Oscar, please, can you help me with this? So, and I mean, getting a no after losing my manliness, it really hurts. So I put myself in that position. If I can help, I'll help. And if I can't, I will meet you halfway or something. So
you're
that's
still
how I
very
think
diplomatic,
about it.
Benga. What about you, Obina? Is it a hard no for you, or?
So let me bring it a little bit home. The truth is, here in Africa, especially Africans, you always saw your father solve problems. You always saw your father go out in the morning, come back at night. He's paying all the bills, he's paying the house rent, he's paying the school fees. He's a person growing errands. And you have relatives that come, he's solving problems. Growing up as a male child, you think that's how it's supposed to be. Whether we like it or not, we're all products of our families, where we come from. So that already rubs off on you. So for you, you're like, okay, it's kind of like, let me link it to, it's kind of like abuse. A man who abuses his wife physically, his kids see that they're most likely to breed a second generation of abusers. So it's the same thing happens when, daddy never says no. Daddy's always going for community meetings, solving problems in the neighborhood, sorting out. So suddenly, daddy is this knight in shiny armor on a golden hill, like somewhere, sunset, like it's a Michael Bay film. Do you understand? So that's how I see it. So when you come into, so that pressure is sort of passed on to you. But I think with how we've evolved as a society, there's nothing wrong in saying, oh, sorry, I can't help you now, or that kind of thing. But it takes quite a journey to get there. But so what I think, in answering that question, a man needs to understand his limitations and I know this is where you draw the line. Be able to figure that out.
So, Sukombi, let me kick off with this. Now, I wanted to find out from you, based on your experience. Now, you handle teams, you're a production guy, so you're working with a lot of people. How important is it for a man to know his limit and be able to stand by it and not feel less of a man?
For me, I think it's important to trace why people feel the need to be of help to people or to claim to be a superhero. And I think it stems from our background as people that are compassionate, that show love. So for instance, growing up, you feel the sense of communality, like you need to help everybody. You need to be there for your younger ones. You need to be there for your colleagues because, as we say, nobody knows tomorrow, And there is that thing. Even your parents, they plug it into your mind, like, help your younger ones, help the people around you because, if you help them, it becomes easy on you later. Even in Africa, we feel that sense that, when our parents get older, then the kids start taking care, of them. So a bit of that, comes from that, where you feel the need that, look, I need to be kind to people, I need to love them, and at this point in time that we are, it's important for people to be able to say, look, this is where I stand, this is how far I can go. You know, yeah, there's still a need to be compassionate, to help, you know, to be kind to people, but so that you don't break, you know, as we've established. I think it's important for people to reach that point to say, look, I think this is what I can do. And I think there's also the ego thing there, where people feel that, look, if I don't do this, people would see me less of a man. You know, so there's that thing. Like, there's a way people, sometimes men want to be seen. That, look, I'm the man of, I'm the elder one. So people go above their means. People borrow to help other people because...
Sorry to jump in here. I just,
please,
remembered something. And it could also cost you a relationship. It was a girl's birthday. She sent me an account number. We had no prior discussion.
None whatsoever.
And she said, you know, I just moved in a few weeks ago. I need to pay for this cabinet. Pay for it. And I said, no, do you even know my states? The fact that I wear a fine suit doesn't mean I always have money. And that was it. She stopped talking to me.
Do you feel better?
Of course I feel better, because they need to also get rid of, human beings need to get rid of that entitlement mentality. My money is not your money. And I could have this money and decide not to help you. It's my prerogative.
So I think that men should stop being yes men. I think there's a way people feel. If somebody asks me for help, if you say no, there's a way you feel like, how will this person begin to see me now that I'm saying no? So usually what men do is they will say, okay. Instead of you right there and then to say, look, I'm sorry, I'm not able to do anything. But the first default of men is to say, okay. And then you start struggling.
Say no and lose that relationship. That girl was a very fine girl, but she doesn't talk to me anymore.
Well, but it's the truth. It's the truth.
What's her name again?
I'm not going to say it. It starts with an S.
Yeah.
So it starts on an S.
Yeah. Sometimes when somebody approaches you for help, you know, I think it's always good to sort of dimension your response. Sometimes you don't have all the answers, but guess what? You know where you can get answers from. So you can say, okay, I may not be able to help you now, but I can point you in the right direction. You lay unnecessary pressure on yourself when you say, let me get back to you. Let me think about it. Guess what? You've taken that burden and transferred it to yourself. You have sleepless nights. You're thinking of where to borrow from when you're struggling yourself. So I think the thing here is just be honest. I think
be respectful and be honest.
Be respectful and be honest.
It happens a lot. And they just assume that, you know, if you're a man, you have to just be financially stable. You should be able to solve all problems. Back to the S girl.
The S girl.
So I went from being like Bruce Wayne, Batman, to a Teletubby. That's why she stopped talking to me.
But do you think there's any need for you in that kind of a scenario to actually call her out and say, look, is it because I didn't send? Do you think there's any need for that, or just leave it?
If we ever see in person, I'll do that, because I like closure. It's always nice to, and I need to understand what she was thinking too.
Obina, what about you? In that scenario, what would you do with Lady S?
I mean, it's a very straightforward conversation, and say, look, at the time you reached out, I wasn't able to do it. Now I am. Are you still interested in it? That kind of thing. I think it's just a way to start a conversation so that we can get somewhere, so that there are no hard feelings or that kind of thing. But let me also say this. I think that this over-glorification of money, that leads to avarice is a problem, is a cancer in society. Because at the end of the day, let me dimension it this way. People who are always seeking to be with richer partners or more wealthy partners don't necessarily end up being happiness at the end of the day. We have more people who are unhappy, broken, and rich. At the end of the day, that extra whatever you were looking for didn't guarantee it. So why bother? And this is one quote that sums it up. Man, know thyself. Because let me tell you guys, stress kills men.
Gradually, over time.
Instrumental death. So, yeah.
Sorry, I wanted to add something. I think that we should take the matter of being a superhero beyond money.
I was
because
just about to say that.
these days is everything. It's your time.
Yeah.
Time is so expensive.
Yeah.
And if we
Absolutely.
all open our phones now, and you go on your WhatsApp, there's somebody begging for your attention. There's somebody calling you for something. There is the emotional part of it. There are different ways that people beckon on you to be a superhero. Men, we need to be more proactive, to these things as much as being reactive, because people will always, once you attain a certain height, you'll be seeing yourself on a certain level. People will be saying, boss. To you are like, boss of where? Africans, Nigerians, we can assume.
Yeah.
Once you're riding a certain kind of car, you live in a certain neighborhood, you dress,
You're
your
rich.
hairstyle, you know, people will immediately, and I'm not even talking about your immediate, the immediate people around you are even the worst.
Yeah.
Because they feel they know a lot about you.
Have you been in a position, I'm just talking siblings
Oh, yeah,
now,
please. Yeah, go ahead.
where you actually reach out to them for help?
Yeah,
Have you had scenarios like that? And do you feel somehow when you do that? You see?
I'm trying to.
That is exactly my
Yeah,
point. So
yeah.
if you're the firstborn, because I'm the last in my family,
Oh,
I
wow.
have 3 brothers, 1 sister.
Okay.
And I had to shut down that narrative of, I have one big brother somewhere. I had to like hit the ground running, be on my, and it helped me on the long run.
Fantastic.
Like,
Yeah.
what stops you from reaching? And the way you started is where most people are, where the
Yeah,
superhero
yeah.
finds it difficult to just reach out and say, I need help.
Yeah,
Why
but
is that
so
an issue?
Is that again because you know you sort of put yourself in a position where all the help is supposed to come from you. But then again, for me, I actually do reach out to them for certain things. I think the point here is, the plea for help doesn't necessarily put any strain on them. So it's something that it's something that's pleasurable for them. It's not putting a lot of burden.
Do you think that is, because it's like you're making that assumption. I'm trying
No,
to
the
I'm trying to
thing is-
demystify that.
Yes,
and
I
like,
think to you, the very insignificant point you're making, I haven't seen myself, make any demand that places any sort of burden on them, that makes them go out of their way to do something, as opposed to if the tables were turned and they had to ask me for something.
Benga.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So let me take Benga.
Yeah.
If I could, I wish I could. Like, take out your phone right now,
Yeah.
send a message to Miss S
Yeah.
and say, babe, how far? Please, I need 50K. Let's just assume you don't even need it.
Yeah.
Like, can you get to a point where you can say, you know what, I couldn't help her, but let me reach out to her. Can you do that?
I would never.
Why?
Because I have a million more people I could reach out to for help. Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
But what if she could actually help you? Would that make you feel somehow? Because you couldn't be there for her doesn't mean she
I
can't be
wouldn't.
there for you.
Of course, I ask people for help, but that
No.
S,
yes.
nah,
Why?
I won't. The hurtful thing about it is because I couldn't help at that moment, and it rubbishes every
other thing.
memory, every other good thing we've had in the past.
So,
that's entitlement at its peak.
I get you.
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
you, Benga. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just like, why is it that a guy, once you can't deliver on some things to certain people, why do you shut that part down? Why don't you feel the need that that person can actually help you? No man is an island and all that stuff.
I think fundamentally humans are flawed. So I give you an example, right? So everybody knows what happened at the Oscars, the slap, right? Now, Will came out with an apology a couple of days ago, and we've not heard from him because he is dealing with the repercussions of his action. But he had to come to a point where, look, I know I've messed up, but I have to come out and say something and say I'm sorry. But my point is, some people never go through that circle. They write, I'll shut this, kill this, and move on.
So just to follow up with
Yes.
the Will analogy, Chris Rock said he's not ready to speak with
Exactly.
Will. That's the way.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
feel-
ready to talk to Mr.
Okay, we're talking about Will Smith's apology.
Yes, at the Oscars, yeah.
No, I mean, it's too early to tell, but I think the Chris
So
Rock thing...
let me just find. So
Yeah, sorry.
that's exactly what I was saying. So the thing is, not everybody is able to come full circle. Some people say, okay, I'm not ready to deal with this. So what I'm saying is, people deal with things differently, and there is no one-size-fits-all situation. For Benga, it could take 20 years. For somebody, it could take 5 minutes.
Nah, I think he's done. He's done with Mr.
Sorry,
I think that's done. So come you want to say
Yeah,
something?
Yes,
So
I
sorry.
want to. I feel like
Yes.
ego also has a role to play.
Yes, I'm saying what I'm
Is
saying.
Benga
Yeah.
stuff ego, do you think?
I don't know.
No, come on, guys. If it is, tell him. He's
I
here.
don't
Human
know.
human nature is
Yes,
flawed. So we're
because
flawed.
yes,
We're
because
flawed people.
if I have to go to my younger brother
Yeah.
for something, there is already a feeling that
You-
why am I not
you
man
mess up.
enough to do? Why do I have to
Yeah.
ask my
Yeah,
brother to send me
yeah.
500,000?
Yeah.
There is that. There is
But
that
has it crossed your mind that your brother is willing to actually help? And that's my
No,
point.
it's not about that.
Why is it difficult for men to reach out and say, I'm not a superhero, I'm just a guy, I need your help. I might have $1 billion in my bank account, but what I need from somebody might not be monetary. It
But
might
that-
just be time. It might be, I don't know.
But
That's
that's
what
the
I'm...
problem with being a superhero.
Who
The
send
problem
you? Who
with
send you
super-
work, bro?
Eh,
Who
wait,
send you?
but that's still where the society, and I'm not dwelling on the societal thing, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you deal with this on your own. And it is that dealing with it on your own that is the problem. Because you feel like, oh, you can handle this. You can sort this. You don't need to meet anybody. You don't need so much help from people. But I feel the day you decide, because even Voltron said, get other people when problems, yes.
Okay.
You know, so it's that thing where people get to that point where you just feel like, no, I'm going to find a way around it. Even husbands who don't ask their wives. I mean, I'm not saying that there are men that don't ask their wives, but generally, men will feel like if I'm working, if I'm earning, I should
And
be able
people
to deal with
judge.
this. Yeah.
So this is what happens to me. If I'm in a situation, that matrix thing comes up. So when I'm asking, and then I'm thinking what people, the person I'm asking, trying to assume, okay, you're judging, oh, this guy that was on a private jet, that was on a jet ski, this guy is probably irresponsible, he's very bad at financial management. So you just kill it and find someone that won't judge you. Because people, it's not just you think, oh, somebody asked for help and you won't profile. No.
Let's even leave women as guys to guys.
Yeah.
I come and meet maybe Benga or I just meet you guys and like, guy, I beg, I fit ... And I don't want to make this about money. I just want to make it about
Oh, it's always
like
about money.
get this. Yeah, because I'm trying to move away from the money thing. Because there are people that have money.
Yeah.
And some people who don't reach out to those guys with money because they value system.
Yeah.
It's about the value. So COVID happened. And a lot of guys were, and I know a couple of stories, a lot of guys were like breadwinner. Like in my industry, I'm an MC, media guys, it was shut down. There were no events. I couldn't do jack. It was very uncomfortable at certain times to relinquish.
Responsibility.
Yeah. I mean, and I want personal story. So this is my own scenario. She stepped up on so many levels, which I paid for after COVID. In other ways.
Why did you feel that way?
So that's my point. Look, I'm not saying I have all the answers, but I'm like, why is it so difficult for a guy to just chill? And during this COVID period, this guy became useless. You get, not me, I'm not paraphrasing, this is a different story. So this guy became useless in the way of all the things he usually used to do. He couldn't. So it was obvious he couldn't. But he struggled, and then the woman takes over and does this, does A, does B, mostly financial stuff. But it felt less of a man. And I'm like, she's your woman. Why do you feel the need to always be the alpha?
It's the programming. It's how we are built. Like I said, we have to understand our limitations, embrace it, and let it be something that empowers you. Because guess what? Now, there's an element of trust, right? Because you build, because your woman knows that, Oscar now,
Of course.
he has always done this. So this is just a blip. That's fine. It's a small pothole down the road. We'll be fine. That's
But what if it's guys dating? Let's leave marriage. Like guys just courting, long relationships.
Again,
they're not bound by
yeah,
marriage.
by marriage.
But in terms of value system,
Yeah.
have
I
you
mean,
been?
if you've put in work, like,
Yeah, over time.
Yeah.
you've paid it forward.
You're good for
And,
it.
yeah, you're good for it. And then the dynamics of your relationships. Too,
Yes.
Because, I mean, if you're with someone that is very selfish and doesn't care, what you did in the past is in the
Irrelevant.
past, then you would suffer for it. But man, know thyself. We should always come back to it. Because at the end of the day, you're the captain of your ship and you drive your own destiny. So you should always know that take care of your mind, take care of yourself, and see yourself as a superhero too. It's not bragging. You think when Kanye West was saying he's a genius, he didn't know what he was doing. It's self-affirmation. Like, look,
Psyching up yourself to
psyching up
actually-
yourself. I could do this. But it can also be, you can't say superhero and you're not working. You're begging people for urgent to kill.
I think the
So
word-
be realistic in your superhero.
Live up to
hood.
the hype.
Like I always call myself, my AKA is African James Bond. I wear lots of suits. It was DJ Exclusive that gave me that.
African James Bond.
Bond.
Should have started. I should have led with that.
I always say I'm a broadcaster of international repute, and it's going to happen. Someday I'll be on a global news
happening
network.
already.
It's already happening.
So guys, I just want to say
Trying to be
something.
humble. It's
I
already happening,
think-
bros.
I think it's becoming more difficult for you to truly know yourself. These days, even for you as a guy, if you are in a problem and you need financial assistance and you want to talk to your friends, you have to make a long list and say, who really can I talk to? Who is the closest that I know that if I talk to this guy,
They
it
won't
won't
judge.
be somehow.
Don't judge. They won't.
And you won't lose a
Yes.
sense of
Yes.
your
So
pride
I think
and
the
dignity.
first step, if that's the only thing you take away from this episode, is try to identify those people you can feel vulnerable with. that will not use it, quote and unquote, against you,
Yeah.
that will make you feel who you are. So I think the value system is also very, very important. Because somebody is your wife or your husband doesn't automatically mean they understand you. You need to work on that as well.
Value
and give
system
yourself-
on both sides.
On both
I
sides.
remember, I mean, I don't know how you deal with this. You MC, I also MC too on the side. And a friend, not a friend, a friend says, you know, it's my wife's 40th birthday. I would like you to
Step in.
step in, just MC. And I did it, and all I got was rice and chicken. But
Did you
is
state-
that
But
abusing privileges?
Did you state the terms and conditions?
No, I didn't. I just thought, you know, you should
As
be
a
able
guy
to,
man. But
yeah,
would you say
should
that was on
understand.
you though?
No. I deserve better
let me
than
say
rice
this.
and chicken.
Let me say this.
Well, it was tasty, Sha.
The measure of a man is not size or height or body mass. It's about how he deals with situations in pressured situations, how he deals with
Love the
situations.
fact that you said that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, let's just remember it's about character. That is what defines a man. Yeah, so those are my final thoughts.
So, Kwame, what about you?
For me, prioritize, be proactive, no do pass yourself, no cross your lane. And then to the general public, people should stop saying, "Shebi na man you be." Are you
answer
saying
the-
be man now? Calm down. The man is human, you know. I mean,
I'm the man.
Yes. So I think it's important for people to be vulnerable and understand that, you know, there are ups and downs in life, and even when the pressures, you know, is there, you know, there's always a way to balance things out. You can't solve all the problems. You can't help everybody. You know, it's just step by step, and, you know, keep moving.
That kind of sums it up, guys. We're men. We're not superheroes. It's easy to say you are whatever you are when the going is good, but when the going gets tough, that's when you realize that for every superhero, there's a kryptonite. For every Superman, there's something that could just hit you the wrong way. How do you deal with it? Well, as long as you're breathing, as long as you're alive, as long as you have hope, and you know your limits, you will come out well on the other side. Anyone who truly loves you and cares about you will understand. So don't put yourself on that pedestal. Don't put yourself under unnecessary pressure. Don't wear the cape all the time. Sometimes be a Clark Kent. Don't be a Superman. Till next time on Blue Room Banters, we would love to say a big thank you, first of all, to everyone. Your comments in the comment section, we really appreciate that. If you have any other things, topics you'd like us to talk about, put it in the comment section and we'll see if we can get around to that. I am Oscar Onyisan. Till next time on Blue Room Banters, certified cool by Premier Cool. Bye for now.